The Lo-Fi Horror Guys Growing on You Live, Season 12, is brought to you by Error 4444. Error 4444 is a film distribution label based in the US that is dedicated to restoring and releasing cult action, horror, sci-fi, and exploitation films on Blu-ray from across Asia, which is absolutely sick. I am so excited for these releases and for this company. They strive to release hidden gems that are either out of print or have never had the treatment of, the Blu-ray, the DVD treatment in the US, and giving these films the collector's editions that physical media fans of world genre cinema deserve. So cool. I love it. Their first ever Blu-ray release, Anatomia Extinction, directed by Tokyo Gore Police director YOSHIHIRO Nishimura, is now available on their site exclusively at error4444.bigcartel.com. That is error4444.bigcartel.com. It's limited to 1,000 copies, and they have less than 25% of their stock remaining. So they're dwindling, and they're super limited. Horror collectors like myself eat this stuff up. Go and check them out right now. I have my copy pre-ordered, and I completely support these guys. I'm so happy to be working with them and them helping me out this season. This season is This Is Hell month. So excited. Really, really cool guests. Thank you very much for stopping by. Enjoy the episode. 3, 2, 1. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Lo-Fi Horror Guy. Welcome to another episode of the Lo-Fi Horror Guys Growing in Live. Today, I'm so excited. We're going to be starting This Is Hell month. Going to be starting with my dude, Travis. This Hell month is actually sponsored by Error 4444. Go and check them out on Instagram as well as Error 4444 at bigcartel.com. Absolutely sick, doing some really, really cool things. I'll have my full pitch here in the edited video. So excited to have them sponsoring the season. Really, really cool. Thank you for that. Very excited, very stoked, and honestly honored to be able to have this opportunity to kind of sit down and, pick the brains of some of the cats from, This Is Hell. Some of the members that, are long, have been through and through the career. Travis, Rick, and then some of the cats that, have been there in the beginning, some that have come a little bit later in the career of the band. So cool. I'm really psyched on this, just because of the opportunity that I myself absolutely love. This Is Hell, and so it's cool to be able to dig into this. And you know what I'm saying? I got to replace this. I got a New York band back here, and I got to replace this real quick here. Slap that bad boy up there. You know what I'm talking about? Bam. Look at that. Move it over a little bit. There we go. Sick. So, yeah, once we get Travis here up and connected, we'll get this bad boy on a rolling. Get it connected up. Right, Travis, what's going on, dude?
What's up, man?
Man.
Can you hear me all right?
I can. All good. Thank you. Thank you once again, man. I am so excited for this. This is sick.
No problem, dude. Thanks for having me back.
Totally. Yeah. So I was just kind of, mentioning as far as a little bit in the introduction here that we're going to be talking, kind of a little bit previous to the band, and then, going over the history kind of from your recollection. This is more or less, kind of your memories and your outlook on things, as well as at the end, we're going to do kind of like a This Is Hell March Madness, and maybe dig into what a favorite track of yours might be that beats all of the others.
Cool.
All right.
I apologize in advance for my memory. That's not good, but I'll try my best.
No, it's cool. The thing is, I think that I'm most excited about these is that, everybody has their own, memories, or has their own, visions of how certain things had happened, or, just like different memories of shows, or, opportunities in studios and things. So I'm really excited just to hear, like your take on stuff, and it doesn't have to be necessarily the deepest of dives of things, but just kind of, your recollections of things.
You'll get, but when you talk to everybody over the course of the month, you'll get everyone's versions of things, and then you'll get what actually happened when you talk to Rick, because he'll remember everything.
He's like a typewriter or something. He has it all just like spit right out. It's
just dude. He's got a fucked up brain where he just remembers it. Like,
wow, okay,
disgusting details of like, what it is. He's good about remembering. Like, I'll be like, hey, like, that Strike Anywhere tour we did, and he'd be like, yeah, like October 2007. He'll just like rattle rattle off shit like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a good memory with certain things, like I can, like, I don't know, remember what like a green room looks like of like some weird German venue, you know, but like then he's just like, he's really good with like dates and time and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess maybe that's a good thing that he ended up being one of the last guys I'm going to talk to. So that, so that way we can kind of get
The
some
whole
other
episode
things.
could be fact checking, just him being like wrong.
He just comes out with like a huge like board of statistics and different things. It's, nah, we'll cross that out. That's not right.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. All right. So first off, I just wanted to dig into a little bit as far as before This Is Hell and kind of your earlier days in starting a band. Tell us about your first band and kind of how you came about meeting the other members and how it all formed, you know, when you're first figuring all this shit out.
I guess my first band was called Falling Down, like the Michael Douglas movie.
Yeah.
I think we even had like him on the cover of our demo or something.
Oh,
Um,
sick. Okay.
yeah, it was just me and like a couple of dudes from my hometown of Levittown on Long Island. I feel like I was, you know, went to school with most of the members. It's hard because that band, like, it was Falling Down, and then we like changed our name to Falling Behind. I don't know, I can't remember why. But then but that was the same. It was the same members, I think. And we, you know, we played. We didn't play a ton. We played like a handful of shows. I think maybe our first show was with Kill Your Idols on Long Island, which was really cool.
Oh, wow.
And then that I don't know if we like. I guess we technically split up, but then like myself and maybe one or two of those guys then started a band called The Heist, and then and that basically was kind of like the start of Scraps and Heart Attacks.
Mm.
But again, we changed our name. There was like, I don't I think there was like some group called The Heist that like emailed us and was like threatening to like sue us or some bullshit, you know, like when we were like super young.
Oh, my
So we were
God.
just like, all right, we don't want to deal with this, whatever. So we changed our name to Scraps and Heart Attacks. And then, but yeah, I mean, like the first band, whatever, like we may have played like out of state like once or twice, maybe, but I
Mm.
think we just played locally, you know. The Heist was a little more, you know, legit, whereas like, you know, we put out released a demo, we played some shows, whatever, and then we put out a 7-inch on Dead by 23 Records out of Philadelphia, which like had tons of really cool releases at the time. Um, and then and then as it turned into Scraps and Heart Attacks, we did a little bit of touring um,
Mm-hmm.
with I think us and Crime and Stereo. I think did some stuff together. Um, Thieves and Assassins, which was like Rick's other band. The Backup Plan, we would always do weekends of the Backup Plan, and a couple like we'll get into it later, but a couple of the members of the Backup Plan formed This Is Hell as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we did, I think the biggest thing that Scraps and Artifacts did was we released a full length with Triple Crown Records, and then we did like a tour with Love Is Red and Instilled, just like a little like 2-week thing. But yeah, the band wasn't we weren't like super active. I think we toured out to California once, but I think out there I think that's where we did some shows of Crime and Stereo. Maybe a couple of we wound up actually playing a couple of Set Your Goals' first shows out there, which was like hilarious
Oh,
because
nice.
it was like one of their first shows, and like the reaction that they got looked like it was like a band playing their last shows. It was like chaos.
Damn. What the
Yeah.
hell?
Uh,
That's crazy.
but yeah, then what was your next question? Because maybe I can just segue into it.
After that, I was just going to ask as far as earlier, you know, in your thoughts of, you know, kind of playing your first shows and recording different things. What were early goals? What were things that you had, you know, early on in the back of your mind that you're like, man, this would be sick to do, you know, if I could travel here or play with this band?
I don't know, like with like the first band or whatever. Like I don't think that I had any goals or like kind of whatever. You know, I think it was kind of like, oh, cool, like we can record a demo, like cool, you know, and then like obviously playing your first show is always the thing to do. I think I guess the next logical thing from there is to then like play out of state, you know, and then I
Mm,
think that turned into like wanting to go on tour. But I don't think I had any kind of thoughts of doing that with the first band, maybe, you know, or
yeah.
maybe I did, but I didn't realize it at the time, you know, because I
Okay.
don't think that it really like got too. I don't say Scraps and Architects wasn't definitely wasn't serious, but it wasn't like I mean, we were trying to tour, so it wasn't like we were just kind of like a part-time band, if you will,
Oh, okay.
But I just don't think that we collectively could like the member, like we were like too young and too like just dumb to like get it together to do it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
to do it, to do
Right.
anything properly. I'm like, I can't, like,
Yeah.
looking back at it, I can't believe that we like managed to get in a van and like get out to California and like get back and like exist.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't know, like it was fun, but it was just kind of like me and, a bunch of other like local idiots that just didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you mentioned as far as your first, times traveling out of state, do you remember as far as like where was it that you were going, and did it go seamless, or did some shit pop up? You get a flat tire or anything like that?
Um, the the first time I can remember playing out of state, we played in Philadelphia with, I think we played fuck, what was it? I think it was a Count Me Out in Philadelphia. Like Robbie Red Cheeks, who runs
Oh.
Dead by 23 Records, he booked like
Mm.
he was like kind of the dude who was booking all the hardcore shows in Philly. I think like him and Joe Hardcore maybe overlapped a little bit, but he kind of predated Joe, where he was like the guy doing the shows. And then he
Okay.
started Dead by 23. So I think by us playing down there and maybe giving him a demo or something, that's kind of how we got on his radar to get signed after to do the 7 inch. But yeah,
Hmm.
we played at this venue called the Kill Time, and if I remember correctly, I think we like drove 2 cars down there or something. It was kind of like we didn't have a
Okay.
van, we didn't have like a van or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, I think that went okay from what I recall. The one time I can remember something going wrong was so Philadelphia again. So this time, that was with I think either the Heist or with maybe my first band. That might have
Okay.
been, no, sorry, that was a Heist show, I think.
Hmm.
Anyway, fast forward a little bit. We're signed to Dead by 23. We're called Scraps and Heart Attacks now. Robbie's having a show in Philly for his birthday. It's American Nightmare, um, us, Cast Aside from Richmond, and Frostbite, who's also from like Wilkes-Barre area.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think Cast Aside and Frostbite were also on Dead by 23. American Nightmare were just like good friends of Robbie's. So that was at the TLA in Philly. Um,
Mm.
we we our guitar player had like an SUV, and I think we rented a trailer to like get our gear down there. And the show was good and everything, whatever. But I think after the show was over, behind the venue to load in and stuff is kind of like a really narrow alley, and like none of us like knew how to like drive a trailer attached
Oh
to it, whatever,
no.
so we were like trying to leave or whatever. I figured we were loading whatever, but anyway, like the trailer like jackknifed, and we're like the SUV, like we're like kind of like just stuck in the alley. So we
Oh
we had
no.
to get we had to just get a bunch of people to come. Fortunately, Cast Aside, their singer is this fucking massive, like just buff dude. It's like him and his bandmates came out. A couple people came out, and the trailer was empty, so we just kind of like all picked it up and like moved it so like it was straightened out.
Oh
So
damn.
that was an interesting little hiccup in the early days. But yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember anything
okay.
too. It's funny is like you would think that all like the early stuff would happen to the early bands, right? But I think that all the bullshit happened to This Is Hell later down the road. But I
Oh
guess also,
no.
also like I mean, but you're also comparing, the band's history of like, Scraps and Artifacts was like a band for like, 2 or 3 years or something, whereas like
Okay.
This Is Hell, we had 10 plus years to like have bad shit happen to us.
Oh my God. Well, it's kind of one of those things where every once in a while you hear stories of people, like they're just a band for like a couple of months or maybe their first year, and their trailer gets broken into and all their shit gets stolen. It's like, God,
Yeah.
man, how
No,
do you
yeah.
keep going after some of that stuff? It's like,
All
especially
all
when you're
that
just starting.
all that happened to This Is Hell. I
Oh
don't think any of
man.
that happened to Scrap. Yeah, like I said, I don't think we were active enough to really kind of experience all of the misery.
Yeah, right. Okay, okay. So let's dig into as far as, with kind of the ending. I won't even really dig into, like the band breaking up or splitting, but Scraps and Heart Attacks, and then you and the boys of This Is Hell meeting. How did you meet those guys as far as maybe, first shows that you remember playing with the other bands or different things like that? How do you remember
Yeah, so
meeting them?
yeah, so when Scraps was playing, whatever, like a little before that, Rick was playing drums in a band called Subterfuge, and they were kind of
Hmm.
like one of the first, not the, I wouldn't say the first hardcore bands in Long Island, but they formed in '96, and they were like kind of playing New York hardcore kind of style when
Hmm.
I think a lot of other bands like weren't, you know. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rule, like a band like Kill Your Idols, stuff like that, but they were from the eastern end of Long Island and kind of, you know, I think stuff out there, people were doing the metal core kind of stuff, or they were doing like Long Island melodic kind of stuff, whereas they were Subterfuge was pretty like fast and heavy. So Rick played drums in that band. He was like, and he booked shows out there and stuff like that. And then the backup plan was another kind of punky hardcore local band. So Scraps and Heart Attacks would play us in the backup plan. Played like a lot of weekends together, so we became very friendly. And then I guess by that, but by this time, Subterfuge had already split up, and Rick was playing guitar in a band called Thieves and Assassins. They were
Mm.
like a melodic band, and they were doing a little bit of touring. And Scraps, we took them on like a little. I think us and Crime and Stereo took them out for a little like week or two tour or whatever. But I think us in the backup plan, we played so much together on weekends, and I think that we kind of just like a couple of us were like, oh, it'd be cool to like start a side project or whatever, you know. And at the time, it was kind of like we just talked about doing something, and that like and talking about like that being a side project. And
Oh,
what happened was like basically like we formed This Is Hell from, you know, a couple of members of the backup plan, myself and Rick from Thieves and Assassins. And then for some reason or another, like it was kind of like I think we were all kind of I say like we were over our current bands, but it was kind of like, you know, the backup plan had been doing a bit of touring and stuff, and I think they were like getting a little burnt out on it. And like Rick was doing the same with Thieves and Assassins. I think it was kind of like we all were kind of I think we all were kind of like Rick was kind of like the dad of his band, like I was the dad of my band, and then there was like, you know, the three members of the backup plan where, you know, maybe one of them was kind of the band dad, you know. But
yeah. Okay.
I think the idea of kind of like doing something new was appealing to everybody, you know. And I don't think we had
Okay.
any kind of any goals or plans for it. So we recorded a demo, and then while our like that, so I think we recorded like a demo in May maybe or something. It was the summertime, I think. And then like Scraps is going on tour, Thieves is going on tour, Backup Plan was going on tour, whatever. And we like burned a bunch of demos, and like we each had like demos we were selling at our respective bands merch tables, you know. And then
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I can't fully remember like what happened, but I guess we like all came back from those tours, and I think we were kind of like maybe we should like do a tour with This Is Hell, you know. So then yeah, I wound up booking our first tour, and it was a big one, a very long a very long tour. And then I think it just kind of like I think we realized that like that was going to be the band, you know.
Okay.
And then yeah, I don't know if we like all like split up at the same time or whatever, but basically it was just kind of like a bunch of dudes from other bands who like knew each other from playing locally, kind of had the idea of just kind of forming
Yeah.
a
Okay.
new project.
Like a mutual understanding in between like different bands too, as far as like, well, maybe take these couple of weeks off and see, whatever else is going on.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Tell us about, I've read different stories and different things as far as naming the band and Elvis Costello song. There's other things I've seen online. Where did that come into play? How did that conversation come up?
I, I don't remember that be I think that I just had the idea to call it This Is Hell from the Elvis Costello song.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and I think everybody was like, I don't know if I even told them like where the name was from, or if I just like had this idea for the band. And everyone was cool with it. But yeah, over the years, everyone like always assumed that it was a Bad Religion reference. And it's funny
Oh,
because like
okay.
Jeff from the band was a big Bad Religion fan. I never got into them. So I wouldn't get like annoyed when people like brought it up, but everyone was always everyone just assumed that it was always like a reference to them, and I was like, no, I don't like that
band. No, it's not. Thanks, though.
Yeah. So yeah, it is 100% a Elvis Costello nod.
Okay, that's funny. I like that. What went into, earlier? So you were mentioning the demos that you brought along when you guys were touring on different things. Was that the demo that you guys initially made then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
was that just like an old, like you wrote on some Sharpie markers, or did you guys have some art
they're
with
actually
it?
pretty cool. So at the time I was working for Kinko's, which became FedEx Kinko's, right?
Okay.
And like for anybody I think of a certain age knows that like Kinko's was the spot where like hardcore dudes went to make their flyers for shows, and typically there was like somebody that you knew working one of those places, so they would like look the other way, let you make a bunch of flyers for free or whatever. So basically having that hookup, I had access to like a color printer and shit, so like I like printed out like full color copy like covers. We got like the demo. We got the demo, like the CD itself pressed, so it had like artwork on the face of it, and then like I did like an insert, like we did like an insert, and it was like square insert, and it had like 4 songs, right? So there was lyrics to the 4 songs, and then I had like this fucking industrial cutter, right, at like Kinko's to cut business cards, so like I cut it in 4, so like there was like a lyric sheet for each song, like so it was like for a demo, it was like a really nice packaged, a really nice packaged demo.
Wow. Okay.
That cost very little because all we had to pay for was just the CDs themselves.
Yeah. Okay. I just imagine like like a manager or something up front, like, Travis, are you getting those copies done? It's like, yeah, and you're just back there printing off shit.
That job was a bit of a joke. It was a lot of me printing hardcore show flyers for people and not charging them for it, or just like letting them print like 500 and being like, all right, you got 50, right? Cool, like $5,
nice.
Like whatever.
Nice. That guy you're talking about is you.
Exactly.
That was funny. What as far as like the first track on that Wreck Your Life, what is the quote that's going in the beginning there, the movie clip?
Oh, it's a Johnny Cash. It's from a Johnny Cash song. Yeah.
Okay. I've wondered that. I mean, it kind of sounds like it too, but it's just always been something where I've wondered, in my interest of listening to the band, like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, we used to. Yeah, it was a little Johnny Cash clip, and we used to, like, I guess when we played live, we kind of had that as our little, clip to start our set.
Nice. Okay. And who is Brandon?
That's my brother.
In the lyrics there. Oh, yeah. Okay.
My older brother. Because actually, you know what? To be fair, I think he might have been like, yo, you should call your band This Is Hell. I think it might have been his idea, because he definitely would have been hip to Elvis Costello probably before I was, because he played in bands and stuff, so that's kind of like the reason why I started playing, like kind of taking more of an interest in playing in a band. But but yeah, I think that was my little nod to, hey, thanks for the band title.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right. I like that. Now, you mentioned, with that demo coming out, you guys toured. There's been different things saying like 200 shows in a year. Is that something pretty close? Yeah, probably. I actually have a list of all the shows we ever played, like in an email. Like I just kind of like kept a tally of it. Because so like I booked our first tour, and it was like a 2-month tour. And then while we were like on that tour, I was like sending emails out to promoters booking our next tour. And yeah, we stayed super busy. I mean, like for pretty much the existence of the band, we toured pretty heavily. I mean, we definitely slowed down, as time went on, especially like when we started doing like, more legit tours. Then you got into things where like you weren't allowed to play. Like if we played Chicago, like we couldn't play, I'm trying to think of like, for example, if we played Chicago, we couldn't play Chicago again until like 3 months later. Whereas like previously, it's called like a radius clause, where like if you play somewhere, you like you can't play. Like if you play a show in New York City, you probably couldn't play Long Island because it's like 30 miles away, whatever. You could 3 months later. There's like a time
that basically where like you have to, so that way it just doesn't draw like, doesn't take away from the draw, you know? But like, you know, early on, we were booking our own shows, whatever, like we would go and, you know, we'd go to some places once a month, you know, like the same place, and it was like whatever. But this is like later on when it's like booking agents involved and kind of, you know, real promoters and bullshit like that. But
Oh, okay. Well, what would you say are some maybe learning lessons from those early first tours that were things that, you know, you carried with you, you know, years and years later, as far as just something that you learned while on the road that you're like, fuck, I didn't think of that. Or some things maybe that are necessities to bring on the road with you.
yeah, I mean, like shit like that is just kind of, I never liked packing too heavy, you know. I just kind of always was like, I can wear the same thing a lot if I need to or want to.
Okay.
And then I could also like, you know, do laundry somewhere, you know. Like I think as long like having clean underwear and clean socks was always like very good and kind of crucial. But like I don't know, like I could wear the same. I mean, I can and did. I'd wear the same shirt for 4 or 5 days, you know, and then like, all right, like that one's done in the dirty laundry. Then like the next shirt, same thing. And then I'd play in the. I mean, it's gross, but like straight down to like the underwear and socks. I'd have like a pair of clothes that I played in for you know like a week. So I'd have like I mean, actually the shirt and pants I'd play in for probably the whole tour.
Okay.
But like my underwear and socks though, I'd wear for 5 or 6 shows, and then I'd like swap them out, you know. But like I would just play in those, and then like once I was done playing, I'd switch back into my like street clothes, if you will.
Yeah.
But then I'd wear that same outfit for like 5 days. But it was just like, you know, I didn't want to bring a ton of shit with me, and I also didn't want to like have to do laundry all the time, you know.
Right.
So I you know I was kind of like good, like I could bring a duffel bag on like a 2-month tour and I'd be good, you know.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I think early on we learned that like, you know, you didn't really need to like have tons of bells and whistles. You know, like our first tour is like it was just like us in a van, and like that was it. You know, like we built we took out like 2 seats of the van. We built a little loft so we could put like all of our gear under the loft. You know, we didn't have like a tour manager, like a guitar tech, a merch person. You know, like it was just the 5 of us doing everything, you know, like we took turns driving, you know, like took turns selling merch at shows, and took turns trying to like find places to stay, like if we didn't have a friend in town, like just trying to figure it out, you know. And I think as you know, as we like matured and like toured more and like started doing bigger tours, we still did the same thing, you know. Like we at some point it went back and forth, right? Because there's sometimes we're like, all right, cool, like we have access to a trailer, so like we're gonna bring a trailer on tour, so that way we have a little more space in the van, you know. But then like we would, you know, then go out again like later on in our careers like without a trailer, you know. Like so it was kind of like we never really brought, well, occasionally we had like a friend come out and do merch or like tour manage, you know. But we never like had like a crew or anything, because it was like we like were, you know, we weren't making any money, so we didn't have money to like pay, you know. I think what a lot of younger bands, the mistake they make is that they want to appear bigger and or more professional than they are. So like they're like right. They got a van, they got a trailer, they have road cases for all their gear, you know, like they have like, they bring out a sound guy, they bring out a tour manager, and then like they go and they do like a tour, and the tour is good, sold out shows, whatever, but then they come home and they're like, we don't have any money. And it's like, yeah, because you fucking paid a sound guy, you paid a guitar right. tech, like you like have all these fancy cases and like, you know, whatever. And it's like, you, for what? Because you wanted like somebody on stage tuning your guitar before you got up there. Like, so like you weren't up there tuning your own guitar. Like,
right.
So I think we were able to kind of, you know, we never like made much money, but like we all like, for the most part, lived at home and didn't have any like crazy bills other than like our cell phones and stuff, right? Like health insurance, maybe. But we weren't giving anybody our money, you know, except for like a booking agent at some point, which like they were the ones who were like doing the work, right? They were getting us shows and they were getting us paid. So like they earned their money, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But like, yeah, we just never, I mean, if we could afford it and whatever, like, yeah, I would love to like bring somebody on tour to do stuff for us. But we just like, we knew what little money we were making was barely enough for us. So like, why would we give it to somebody else, you know?
Yeah, be logical about it. Try to make it
Yeah.
work for you, not work for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you mentioned stage clothes? Was that something that you had to go through like a tour or two to figure out before you're like, man, I got to do something about this shit?
No, I don't
Or
think
was
so.
that kind of
I
like
think
right off
because
the
even,
bat?
yeah, even like with even like touring with Scraps and Art Attacks, I kind of already was like doing that. I remember I had this Modern Life is War like sleeveless shirt that I would play in all the time. And it was like one of those things where like we're touring in the summer, so I'd play in it, it would get fucking gross. We would like we'd like open the van window, tuck the shirt into it, and then close it. So it was like hanging out of so it would like kind of air dry, you know? And this one shirt in particular was like, it gets so gross and sweaty. And then like we would be driving the next day and it would be like kind of air drying and the sun would be hitting it. And like it wound up getting like sun bleached from like the combination of my like sweaty bullshit and like the sun. So this like Modern War shirt I had was like just like in pieces. But yeah, I
Oh
kind of always
God.
like yeah, by the end of tour, the shirt that I played in would definitely wind up being pretty gross.
Okay. Oh, all right. Off the demo, let's go with what's your favorite track? You know, maybe even today. What's your favorite track off the demo still today?
Probably Wreck Your Life. I think
Ooh,
that was
yeah.
kind of
Okay.
like our I think that was that was kind of the one song from the demo. I think that like later on in you know down the line we wound up playing, you know, like I think we kind of like, you know, as you go on you phase out songs when you get new songs, whatever. But I
Mhm.
think Wreck Your Life is one that kind of stuck around longer than the other ones did, you know.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go
Nice.
with that one.
Next up, wanted to dig into the EP. So tell us about the layout and the artwork from Jeremy. What's the last name here? I'm gonna butcher that, and I don't want to do that.
Dude, I think maybe at the time I might have known what his last name was.
Waskowitz? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
That sounds right. Yeah. What's funny is I think that it's easier to say than it looks, you know? But yeah, Jeremy used to play in that band Daughters, I think they're from Rhode Island. Fuck man, I don't remember how,
No shit.
yeah, I can't even remember how we linked up with him, but we signed to, this small Long Island label called State of Mind, to record the EP. Yeah, fuck man, I don't remember how we even linked up with Jeremy, but I guess maybe we just saw his stuff and we thought it was really cool. So yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know if we even like, I don't think we even gave him any direction. I think we just loved his stuff and we were like, hey dude, will you know whatever, do this for us? And he killed it. The artwork is I
Oh,
think the artwork is
nice.
so cool in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Um,
Okay. We're
yeah.
just kind of letting him have his like creative freedom with it, and
Yeah.
it's
I
even
think,
better when they kill it.
yeah. I
You
don't
don't have to
remember
have
there
that
being,
conversation of like, it's fine.
yeah. And like, I don't know, like it's one of the things where it's like when you go to somebody for art, unless you've got like a super solid vision of it, like you're going to them because you like their stuff. So like, why not just trust them to do it, you know?
I like
But
that.
yeah, I don't
I
think
like
there was
that.
any revisions or anything, or like, you know, I think we just kind of let him do his thing. What's
Yeah,
funny is that like,
totally.
I don't think we ever met him or anything. And, he did that for us and then like, whatever. And then we made some merch like last year for like the 15th anniversary of the EP, whatever. And
Hmm.
I like found him on Instagram and I was like, yo, dude, like, I don't know if you remember me, but like you did the cover of our EP like 15 years ago. We're trying to make some merch. Do you like happen to have the files? Like I expected him to be like, dude, no. Like, and, and and he's like, dude, he's like, he sent me a picture of like he had the fucking original drawing of it, and I was like, oh my
Oh
god.
man,
So he like
that
sent
rules.
me pictures of it, and we were able to like cobble together like a design for merch for it.
Sick. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. That was one thing I forgot to write down as far as asking about, but I do remember that you guys had done that collection of original EP stuff. So, and
yeah.
what was he involved at all as far as anything new, or was that just from
No,
getting the stuff?
he basically just like sent me like the files, if you will, the visuals
Nice.
of it, and then I just had like a friend kind of like put together some stuff.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
What about tell us about the 108 cover and how you guys came to meet Daryl.
Um, I don't remember the first time I probably would have met Daryl through my brother. So my brother played in some local bands, and then he joined the Movie Life, and they were a pretty heavy touring band. And like they were
Mm.
very, the singer Vinny from the Movie Life was like really good friends with Daryl, singing Glassjaw, and so they were like super
Mhm.
tight. So I guess I would have probably met Daryl through my brother and Vinny. You know, kind of. I spent some time touring
okay.
with Movie Life when I was younger and stuff like that. So I think probably through them. And then we were recording the EP. I don't remember who. I think maybe Joe, our original guitar player. I think maybe he had the idea to do the 108 song. And then like I knew that Daryl was into them, and just would be cool to have him, you know, sing on a track with us. So just hit him up and had him come down and record that. It was cool.
Okay, cool. What would you say off of the EP was your favorite track today?
Probably Moving Targets or Diamond Lanterns maybe. And then same thing, like with, you know, as we kind of went along, I think Moving Targets was kind of a song that held pretty strong in the set list over the course of time, you know, or like, or came back into the set list, you know. There's like some songs that we like, you know, after we toured on the EP and like Sundowning came out, whatever, like we just never played those songs, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think Moving Targets probably was maybe.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, that's certainly a good one. I dig that. Now moving on, you know, past that as far as Sundowning. Now that dropped in. Was it earlier 2006?
It was May 16th.
Oh, May. Okay. Nice. Okay. So what can you tell us as far as, first off, I wanted to touch on the Polygraph Cheaters video. Where did the concept come up, and, you know, just kind of working on that?
That was so I guess similar to like, you know, the artwork we just talked about. Trustkill linked us up with High Roller Productions, which is Doug Spanenberg, who they used to do all the Hellfests. They used to film all the Hellfests and stuff like that.
Oh,
so like,
yeah,
that was kind of like their deal. And then also obviously they did music videos. But so Doug was the main guy. And then also Anderson, I think is his name. He sang in that band The Promise. He also worked on the video. But yeah, basically they wrote a treatment, and we I think we were starting tour somewhere in like the South-ish, and basically like, so we like arranged to do the video the day before we started tour. So we drove out to, I think we did it in Jersey, and we drove out to Jersey, and they like, you know, had this treatment written, whatever. Like we get there, they have like all like the cameras and everything, whatever. We filmed all like the performance stuff in the one day there in this like, you know, warehouse or whatever it was, and then they filmed the other stuff that was kind of like cut in, you know.
Okay.
But same thing was like, you know, like we were like a fucking, you know, a young band signed to like a pretty decent label at the time, you know, and like we were filming a music video. We were like, this is fucking cool. Like we weren't like reading the treatment to the video and being like, maybe we should. We were just kind of like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, like just tell us where to go, you know? So we fucking, not a good idea filming a video the day before tour, because we like, you know, played the song 50 times, like going over and over. It's like the next day I was like so sore, like had like no voice, and I'm like, all right, great, starting a tour, like feeling like it's the end of tour, you know.
Yeah, that's like one of the songs people want to hear, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to play this song ever again.
I'm sick of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Good point. Good little advice there. That's kind of funny. Was that your guys' first, I guess, kind of, not to say budgetary, but your first bigger video that you guys did?
It was the first video we did, period. Yeah, we didn't do. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, we didn't do a video for anything off of the EP, and then that was the only video we did off Sundowning. Well, we shot like a not even just like we played a show in Syracuse, and some dude filmed us playing Permanence. But I think it's live though. I don't even think it's like, you know, like there's a video of us playing Permanence on YouTube that's like music video-ish, but I think it's just live, but it just kind of got two cameras or something. But I don't think we didn't do any other like actual. No, I'm lying. We did a video for Broken Teeth, but that was just like a dude filmed. Same thing. We played Chain Reaction in Anaheim, and he filmed our whole show, and then just kind of cut stuff together to the song. So.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, okay. Polygraph was like the only like legit, I guess, you know, like budgeted, if you will, like we, the label paid somebody to do the video for us.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking, I guess that Permanence video was something. I didn't know if it was something that was counted as like a music video, per se. But
yeah, I forget, but I think it's just live. I think it has like the actual like audio from the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's, I think I read in one interview, and this was with Rick, but I just wanted to bring up, kind of boggle a little memory of yours as far as mentioning that there was a working title for one of the tracks being "Cowboys from This Is Hell."
I think
were there others for this album here?
Yeah, I think every album we've done has had like full on like that kind of thing, If I remember correctly, I think that was "Here Come the Rains." I think was "Cowboys from This Is Hell."
Okay.
Yeah, we had one like fuck. Rick will A, he'll remember them, and B, he probably still probably has the actual demo like on his computer with like the names. I remember one. This is from Misfortunes, but there was one called like Droopy Draws, which like I don't know. I feel like it was a Deftones reference or something, but I can't remember. And then I remember there was like one that was like called like Hope. It was called Hope Comeback Kid. Like it was Hope Conspiracy Comeback Kid, like mashed. Like it was. They usually were named like basically it was like whoever we were like the song was kind of like ripping off of or like influence. Like if it was like, oh, this reminds us of like this band, then like we would like kind of use that as the title. But yeah, for Sundowning and I think for Misfortunes, we definitely had like 2 like full on like albums worth of like alternate titles.
Yeah, that is sick. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to remember that for Rick and see if he has a couple more of them.
He'll remember. But Cowboys from This Is Hell was definitely a highlight.
Yeah. What would you say after all these years? Favorite song off of Sundowning?
Without thinking too hard about it, I'm gonna say Absentee Ballot.
Oh, okay, nice.
Either that or Here Come the Rains, maybe.
Okay, we'll go. Absentee Ballot. That was the first one that came out, and bam, we're gonna slap that one on there. I'm jotting these down. If it doesn't seem like I'm listening, I'm just writing these down as you're saying.
It's all good.
To seem rude, like
I wouldn't listen either.
Don't ask me a question. It's not even listening to the damn answer. All right. So next up is Misfortunes. I wanted to drop on, talk a little bit on that here. With your previous times in the studio, and this being your guys' second studio album, what were some things that you had learned from, previous times that applied to working on Misfortunes?
We learned after recording Sundowning that we did not need to spend as much time or money on recording an album that we did. Like with Sundowning, we spent like a full month in the studio. And then and we just, I think we just realized that like, all right, like we're proficient enough to like do this quicker and cheaper, so we don't need to like spend our entire budget on recording, so the next album for Misfortunes, we like got the same amount of money to record, but spent like a fourth of it, and then like we used the money that we didn't spend to buy a van, so we could tour, So yeah, so for Misfortunes, we like spent 2 weeks or 10 days in the studio, I think, as opposed to like spending 30 days, and it's. I think the results are arguable. We don't have to go into the great debate about how the drums sound, because I'm sure Dan Burke will take you there and whatever. But there was some we recorded at 2 different studios. We did drums at one studio, everything else at another studio. Something happened when we brought the drum tracks over to the other studio, and we lost the audio on it. So like we just had the raw drum file, so we had to then go and like replace the drums at the new studio. But at the end of the day, like we didn't really love how the snare wound up coming out, but otherwise I think like the result, I think it's a better sounding, definitely better, like more aggressive like sounding. I think our just like our tones and everything and my voice, I think everything is just a bit better on that album. But like I said, we spent a fourth of our budget on it. And, you know, and then so that way we're like, all right, cool. Like we only need 10 days. We can bang this out. And now we have this money left over. Like, and now like we're using that to buy a van. So like, you know, that brings it back to earlier where I was saying bands doing all this excess shit. And then they're like, oh, we don't have any money, you know, like, you know, we didn't like hire a fancy mixer and like master to like do it and just, you know, spend money for the sake of spending money. We were still too, I think we were still too new and young and kind of just wanted to make sure we were going to like get out a good record and not like, and have a little money after it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, like a proactive, you know, approach with things where it's like, hey, we don't have to spend a whole month recording this. We can bust this out. We can do it and it still be a quality product. We need a fucking van. Let's use some of that.
And we always demoed,
like
we always demoed before we recorded. So like we, you know, like
yourselves or did you do that with like, oh,
they were shitty, but like basically like Rick would, well, so for Sundowning, Jeff, our bass player, he had a little studio in his house. So we recorded our demo in his basement with him. And then for Sundowning, we like did demos at his house also. For misfortunes, he wasn't in the band. So I think we actually wound up doing demos at like a college. I think we had a friend that was like, had access to a studio at some college on Long Island and let us come in and like demo some stuff there. And then also like Rick would like do stuff in GarageBand on his computer. And then I would just like yell into my computer, like, and just like shitty edit of it. Just enough to like kind of listen to songs and like kind of like learn them and whatever, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So by the time we got into the studio to record, like we knew the songs, you know, like there's some bands that go in and write songs in the studio, you know, like, or like hashing shit out still in the studio. But for us, like we always had full albums written and like ready to record when we got to the studio.
Nice. Okay. You know, from different producers that I've talked to and interviewed, I think that's always an appreciated thing.
Well,
having your shit down.
I mean, it depends. If I'm like a big producer and like this band is writing while they're in the studio, then that means like they're going to be there for a long time and I'm getting paid.
Yeah. Touche.
For us, we were like, let's be prepared so we don't waste time, you know, like, and whatever. Cause I was always afraid of like losing my voice and losing a whole day because I couldn't record or shit like that, you know?
Oh, okay. Okay. What would you say is a favorite track off of Misfortunes?
I'm gonna go with Last Days Campaign. I'm going with all the ballads.
Okay. I like that. Nice. Last Days Campaign. Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
Next up, we got Weight of the World. We're gonna dig into that. You know what? Like we talked the first time. My personal favorite. Not to say I don't love all the other stuff, but this album, honestly, is one of my favorite heavy musical albums in general. I won't even say heavy. One of my favorite albums of all time. Let's dig into a little bit as far as the old cover art. Who's my man on the cover, and you know what was the approach of having him on there?
That is the question that is always asked. So we recorded, I think we must have recorded this and then went to go on tour in Europe with the Agnostic Front before. Either I think we recorded and then went on this tour, or it was before we recorded. Anyway, we went to Europe with the Agnostic Front, and I think we were kind of on the tour, like trying to figure out what we should put on the album cover. And I think our initial idea was to put Vinny Stigma from Agnostic Front on the album cover. And
shit.
And I don't remember what I think we asked him. Like Vinny's a total character, I'm sure, as you're aware. And like so it's like hard. It's like hard having like serious conversations with him. So I think that we're like, hey Vinny, like we got an album coming and like we have this idea, whatever. Like we want to put you on the cover. And I think he was like, yeah, sure, kid. Let me know. You can take my picture, you know, like whatever. And like whatever. Like I don't know if we just kind of like, all right, he doesn't really want to do it, or like we just kind of whatever. But the their tour manager is this dude Schlumpf is his name. He's just this German hardcore legend who's been around forever. He like toured with Discharge, and he like, you know, is like Hatebreed's tour manager when they tour over there. He tours with Agnostic Front, and like he's just kind of like this classic German character, and he looks gnarly as fuck. So we're like, you know what, like we should put him on the cover of the record. And he was, he was out with us as well because he was tour managing Agnostic Front. So we were like, hey dude, like, whatever. Like, and I think our drummer, Benny, I think actually took the photo. If I recall correctly.
Okay.
You can ask Benny when you talk to him, but because Benny had a camera on tour and he was like snapping a lot of pictures. So yeah, we were like, hey dude, we got this idea, like, and he's like, yeah, cool, whatever, So yeah, and it's funny because being like who he is, people like freaked out because like when our album came out, people in Germany like saw the cover and they were like, holy shit, that's like this guy, like, and we made a shirt of the album cover too, and like people like on tour, like people were like Shlom, like they like recognized him from the shirt,
Nice.
So yeah, that was that's the guy.
Okay. All right.
He's great.
I knew at one point, and it was like in me digging through here, trying to like find different things I was trying to find too, because there was even something in my MySpace days that I was trying to pull up, and I don't know who it was that I talked to, but I had messaged somebody from the band, and I remember asking about the logo, and I was like looking into like, what is it with the knife? Is there like some sort of like meaning behind it, or is it just like aesthetic? And I talked to whoever it was about the cover too, and I remember having the conversation. I was trying to pull it up, and I'm like, God damn it, MySpace, you couldn't be around to help me out today,
I wonder if it was helpful at the time, and who it was. The logo was the logo actually, this kid, Glenn is his name. I want to say that he's from Belgium. He's definitely from Europe. I can't. My apologies to Glenn, but I think he is based in Belgium. And okay. I think maybe he just emailed us and was like, hey, like, like, can I do some t-shirt designs for you? And we're like, yeah, sure. And he like sent us a couple designs, and one of the designs was that logo with like the dagger, and we loved it. We were like, this is cool. So we used it for merch, whatever, and then we just kind of adopted it as like our logo for our next 2 or 3 albums, whatever it was.
Nice. And I'm sure huge for him. I mean, that's cool as shit,
Yeah, hopefully
he's wanting to help out.
Yeah.
Or he's like, these assholes, I just sent for a t-shirt.
yeah. Because I'm sure, who knows if we like gave him money or anything for it. But I think we wound up meeting him, I think, when we played in Europe, and like gave him a bunch of merch and stuff, if I recall correctly.
Nice. Tell us about the Bloodlines video, opening up my dude with the old bloody head. What happened to my man?
That's Dave Fox, Long Island legend.
Okay.
That was just like so that video, same thing. It was kind of like, how do we make a video like for cheap, but also have it look pretty good, right? So Rise Records kind of like linked us up with these dudes who I think they were from Ohio or something, because they drove out to Long Island to shoot the video, and Andrew Mulder in the chat giving me the lowdown here. So 441 was the house that we recorded it at. Andrew lived there.
Oh, okay.
I think Brian Aldley from Incendiary lived there. Dan Lamelli from Incendiary lived there. It just kind of was like a rotating cast of Long Island characters that lived at this apartment or house.
Sick.
It was a house. So basically, yeah, we didn't have a lot of a budget, so we were like, where can we do a video for cheap? So we hit up those dudes like, yo, can we film a video in your living room? And they were like, sure. So we just like got a bunch of beers and shit, and just like filmed in their house, and just like, yeah, had a good old time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave Fox got the old bloody head. He didn't really have a bloody head. I'm pretty sure it was just kind of like, oh, this guy was partying too hard and got caught in a mosh or something, like, so he's getting cleaned up at the party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What was the idea behind singing into a damn toilet?
It definitely was not my idea. the dudes who wrote the old treatment for the video, I think they were just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. That was their same thing. It was kind of like, at almost any point in the band, anytime anyone was like, hey, like, you want to do this? We're like, yeah, cool, let's do it. Like, because like when you start playing in a band, like, you don't expect to do anything. So like, anything after like playing a show is kind of like a bonus, right? So here we are, like on album 3,
mm-hmm.
doing another music video. Like, I don't think we even thought that we would like be a band, like for 3 albums, let alone doing a music video, and then like, Yeah, and the video like wound up like debuting on like MTV2 or something. Like they like had like they brought Headbangers Ball back for a minute, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like they like played it on MTV2. So it was kind of like just hilarious that like this video we shot at our friend's house on Long Island, that like all of our Long Island friends are like in the video, you know, like just
Nice.
getting played on like a fucking MTV show. It was very funny.
Yeah, that's sick. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because I remember like the times that I had seen it, that there was some time even before like YouTube and all that shit that I had seen that video, and I was trying to think if it would have been on like a MTV thing or something like. But you're saying it was on like a Headbangers Ball?
Yeah,
That's probably where I saw it initially.
yeah. I think they relaunched Headbangers Ball at some point, and yeah, and I think that it kind of like debuted on there or something, or at least got played on there.
Shit, nice. That's sick. That's sick. What do you got for a favorite track off of Weight of the World?
Probably, oh man, it's tough. Probably Worship Syndrome. I think Worship Syndrome, or maybe The Search. I don't know. There's a lot of looking through the track listing. There's some good ones in there, man.
That album for sure, man.
I do like that album a lot too.
Yeah, that's sick. If you guys, get back to doing like some shows or something like that, I know I saw you a couple of times, and that was one of the things. I feel like maybe you played The Search, and then maybe even no one leaves unscathed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
sick album.
Yeah, obviously like Bloodlines, Death of World Class, The Search, Worship Syndrome, Fall and Rise. We played a lot. I think Forever Discontent we played a couple times. We never played the second song, The Night the Line Was Crossed. Little fun fact for you, that song has never been played live.
Any particular reason, or just
I probably couldn't do that one. It's like just like there's just no breaks. We played Shadows, I think, live, right, Pete? Yeah, Pete's telling me Shadows. Shadows is a good one, but I'm pretty sure we played Shadows live too.
Nice. All right, So next up we got, and this is going to be because our last interview that we did, we had kind of touched on, Bastards Still Remain and different things. So we're going to go and dig in a little bit to Black Mass. I wanted to ask about, someone had mentioned that the Demons video for this bad boy was filmed in an incendiary practice space. Is there a truth behind this?
Yeah. It was fucking tiny, if I'm recalling it correctly. Like that's the thing, like on Long Island, like some of us like had basements at our parents' house and stuff like that, and like that was kind of, some of us were lucky enough to be able to like rehearse in our basements, whatever. And then as we got a little older, like a lot of bands kind of would split practice spaces, whatever. So I think there was a point in time where like we would be going on tour, didn't have anywhere to rehearse, so we'd be like, hey, Bayside, can we like use your fucking rehearsal room for like 3 days before we go on tour, or whatever. But yeah, Incendiary had a spot. And same thing, we're kind of like, we need a place to do a video that we can get for free, like that we don't have any money to do it, because same thing with that video, like we like filmed it like ourselves essentially, which is like a friend, like editing it, I think. But yeah, it's just they had this little rehearsal space, and we crammed our gear into it, and like we're like in like a circle almost, because it was like nowhere to like stand properly. But yeah, that was at the old Incendiary practice room.
Nice. With Black Mass, really pushing the band's direction as far as, kind of like a hardcore crossover, almost as like straight up thrash. Was there anything in your approach, as it maybe even cadence or anything like that with recording this album that had differed from previous albums?
I don't think so. I think just, over time, I think we just got better. So like, sorry, like I said, Sundowning 30 days in the studio, Misfortunes, I think 10 or 14 days in the studio, Weight of the World, like 10 days in the studio, and then like Black Mass, I think we were like in the studio for a week, like we just kind of just kind of like took less and less time. And I think even got like better results as time went on,
Yeah,
I think we just, I think fortunately for me, we've always had very proficient musicians playing in This Is Hell. I was always like by far the like most glaringly like weak link of the band. You know, like everybody was like very good at what they did. I mean, for like the only reason that I probably was able to like keep my job was I was booking shows and like kind of managing the band. So like I kind of like made myself not expendable, I guess, if you will, by handling our business affairs. But yeah, basically, like, you know, like everybody's like always been really good, you know, at playing their instrument, you know, which is a rarity when it comes to hardcore sometimes. I'm sure recording for a lot of bands is a fucking nightmare because like people like aren't good at, like, live is one thing, but when you're recording, like, unless you want it to sound like total slop, you got to be good.
Yeah.
So like we've always had like really good drummers. You know, obviously Rick is a very good guitar player. All of our bass players have been really good, you know, like, so it's just kind of like we go in to record and it's just like, give him one day and he'll like knock all, like, you know, like we record drums for an album and they'd be done like in the half of the first day, you know, like, and then so that way I could then spend, you know, like 5 days or whatever, like finishing my shit because I'm not good at what I do. And like, and also, and you know, it's like your fucking your voice isn't like an instrument, you know, like it's like
different.
Like if you're playing guitar for fucking 10 hours, like, yeah, you might be a little sore, but like it's the guitar that's making the noise. Whereas like if you fuck up your voice and you're like yelling all day, like you can't. So like I'd have to do like, you know, 2 or 3 songs in a day and then like shut up and just be quiet for the rest of the day and then like wake up the next day and like try to do 2 more songs, you know, like, so that way it was good because if they weren't good, they would have eaten up more time and then I would have had less time to kind of track vocals.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Tell us about the idea as far as All Rise for the blackmass.com. That bad boy coming out and I'm trying to think now. I didn't write down what fucking song it was that appeared.
It was the acoustic intro to the song Black Mass.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just like looped. Yep. Yeah. I think as all good ideas for this band came from me, I think. No, I think I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like put up a teaser, you know, thing, like send it to our friends, let them tweet it, let them post it, whatever, just kind of like build up a little, like, oh, like what, you know, because I think at the time, I think it was very, very of the time. I think people were doing teaser websites and whatever, you know, like, so it was just something to kind of like just garner a little bit of attention. You know, I think, of course, there's the fucking geeks who like went and looked up the domain name and like saw that it was like purchased by Rise Records and like just kind of traced it back to us like rather quickly, you know, which like killed the fun of it, you know. But
right.
But yeah, basically the idea was kind of like put up this teaser, let people talk about it, and then like announce the album, whatever. But yeah, it was cool because we just had the acoustic little intro to Black Mass on loop, which like, you know, it's an acoustic guitar, so like you wouldn't really like off the bat realize that it was like a This Is Hell song, you know. I think I had the idea to do that, and it kind of got foiled by like somebody like digging into the back end of the website and just kind of like, you know, it's like you can't just let like this fun mystery thing happen. You have to be like, well,
right.
I went on GoDaddy.com and I realized that it was, you know, tied to this person or whatever. So yeah, but
I mean, I was always too much of a moron to figure any of that shit out.
Oh yeah,
so I don't wait out the whole time.
I don't think I knew you could even do that until it happened.
Yeah, right. These bastards. How are you doing that? Yeah, that's crazy. What would you say is as far as your favorite song off of Black Mass? Oh shit, that's funny.
I mean, the song Black Mass is pretty cool because like it was like so extreme for us, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, The Last Outlaw was cool too. You know, I always enjoyed songs for us that were like, you know, I think we were pretty different from album to album while remaining, you know, like kind of true to what we were. But like you know, if you notice, I think all the songs I picked have been like slower songs, you know, like I just like when we kind of, you know, because most like 95% of our material is just kind of like all gas, you know, like it's just kind of fast. So like it's fun, like for songs like Last Outlaw and like Last Days Campaign, where it kind of like slows down and you don't have to kind of like go 100 miles an hour, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
And those are like always enjoyable live too, because it almost felt like a bit of a break in the in the live set where it's like, all right, I can chill out
Breathe
for
a
a
little
second.
bit.
Yeah,
Go in the back and fan yourself for a minute. Get a little air.
get a little water break. Yeah.
Yeah. And as I had mentioned before, we kind of touched on the Bastards Still Remain already and kind of, dug into that a little bit with our previous one. And I can even, edit in some of that from the last one here so we're not taking up time. But what would you say is a favorite track off of that album, The Return, if you will?
I don't know, man. That album is weird because like I feel like we covered it last time we spoke, but like we never rehearsed those songs or anything like that. Like the songs were like I wrote a couple songs, Rick wrote a couple songs, I think Johnny wrote a song. So like it was kind of like the songs that Rick wrote, he's just like feeding me the lyrics in the studio and I'm like tracking it. Like so I'm like hearing lyrics for the first time like in the studio, So it's not like an album that I've gone back to a bunch,
Yeah.
So like I have a hard time kind of even giving you like a good answer on that. So I'm gonna give you no answer on that one. Sorry.
Okay. That's cool. I'll say, as far as like excuses pile up, as far as my interest with the album, that was one track where I was like, oh shit, this is happening. That'd be a cool one to see live.
Yeah, that's the thing. The whole thing was just
good
like
energy to it.
It's cool, punky, short songs, which is great for me. Like recording, where it's like this song has 10 lyrics to it. Like, nice, I'm done. Whereas like in the past, I'm recording 3.5 minute songs that are just like jam packed with words the entire time. So it's a nice break for me.
Okay.
And boom.
Well, how I have this bad boy broken down basically for our finale here is a This Is Hell Madness, and I'm kind of doing a breakdown, maybe doing a little bit of a trek of your favorite This Is Hell track out of the ones that you selected today. As opposed to the Bastards Still Remain, would you want to choose one from the demo? A favorite track that was on the demo?
Sure, I guess we can throw Wreck Your Life in there then.
Wreck Your Life? All right.
Sure.
Wreck Your Life. Bam. All right. Sick. Okay, so basically, I've got these written down, and the first one, there's going to be, like just a couple here. So the first battle is going to be Moving Targets, Absentee Ballot, and Last Days Campaign. What two songs out of those three would you choose?
Last Days and Absentee.
Last Days and Absentee. All right, Last Days, Absentee. All right, and then on the other side here, we got Worship Syndrome, Black Mass, and Wreck Your Life. What two would you choose out of those bad boys?
Worship Syndrome and Black Mass.
Worship, Black Mass. All right. So then for the final four, I don't know what the fuck I'm really doing here, but for the final four, we got Last Days versus Absentee. Which song would you choose out of those two?
Absentee.
Absentee. And then we got Worship Syndrome versus Black Mass. What would you choose out of those two?
Worship Syndrome.
Oh, shit. All right, so you got Absentee Ballot versus the Worship Syndrome. What would you consider today your favorite This Is Hell song?
Drum roll. I think Worship.
Ooh, shit. Really? Okay. Nice. I love that. I mean, like I say, that's my personal favorite album from the band. And so there's lots of different parts and just kind of personally the time when that album came out. I love it. So yeah, hell yeah, that's sick. Worship Syndrome. I didn't see that coming, but that's sick.
Me neither. Well, I guess also like I didn't realize that you were prepping my answers on the songs for that. So like, but which is good though, because I didn't think to. I think I would have overthought it if I knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right, dude. This has been absolutely awesome. Thank you once again. This is wrapping up. I'm going to be interviewing different members here. I do have a couple of things planned for a couple of months out for some cats that I may have missed this month here. So, this has been such a cool honor once again, talking with you, man, and being able to have you on. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem, dude. Thank you for having me anytime.
All right, cool. You guys take care. Lo-Fi Horror Guy, my dude, Travis Reilly. Take care.
See you, bye.
He's a lo-fi horror guy. Yeah, he's kind of a guy, but he is so lo-fi a horror guy. Yeah. Lo-Fi Horror Guy has been recorded in front of a live studio audience.